Today we're going to do 3 different lobster rolls. Kind of classic, but a little twist on it is a New England lobster roll. Is tossed with a little bit of Tarragon Mayonnaise. Chives. I'm going to shave Meyer lemon on top of it. I've got a lot of different things here because we're going to do 3 of them. So bear with me as we get into the next one. The next one I'm going to do is a Connecticut lobster roll, which is a warm lobster roll. And instead of using drawn butter, I'm using brown butter. Nice and nutty. It's almost like a croissant, like the flavor of croissant, right? And then the last one is kind of a riff on lobster and duck confit by Alain Senderens. From France, 3 Michelin-star chef who had a very famous restaurant called Lucas Carton. Some people call it Lucas Carton. Call it whatever you like, but it was an amazing place. And what they did there was they did lobster, duck confit, mango. Essentially, it's a frisée salad that they did at Lucas Carton with lobster and duck confit. We're going to put it in a lobster roll. All right, we got some beautiful lobsters here. We got these from Peerless in Brooklyn. They're alive and kicking. And right now, I'm going to attempt to do a little psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? I know people feel funny about breaking down lobster and getting it in water. I'm going to just show you the way that I do it. If this is upsetting you, turn away. Come back in a couple of minutes and this will be done. Everything cooks a little bit differently and I'm going to explain that in a second. If you want to come in, lobster cam, right here, we're going to hold it down and right down. Okay, we're going to snap the tail. Also, good idea to wear gloves when you're doing this. You'd be surprised how easy it is to cut yourself. This is going to be a lobster roll, but I want the tail to cook much less than the claw. So the claws go 10 minutes, the tails go 5 minutes. And that's what we want to do. And I like that because you're going to cook the claws, which need more time, and you're going to have a much more tender tail. So with that, I don't like to plunge lobster right into boiling water. I like to get hot water, and I like to go right over the top. So there's a fly in here. I know that you know that I know that you know there is a fly. All right, let me, 10 minutes, start. There we go. And I'm going to save all the shells. There's so many good things that you can do with the shells. You can make lobster stock. You can make sauce Americaine, lobster bisque. You can make lobster butter. A wicked amount of lobster applications. So don't throw the shells away. And that's that. As soon as that's cold, we're going to pull it out and we're going to shell it. All right, so we're going to make what I call Tarragon Mayonnaise. Not totally straightforward. The green goddess part is to add just a little anchovy. I have like 2 1/4. They're like 2 small anchovy fillets and 2 grams of garlic. It's pretty specific. I don't want to make a garlic mayonnaise. I just want a little foundation. And then I have here a 1/4 cup of tarragon. In here we have 2 egg yolks, room temp, along with a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. To that, we're going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. So after I chop it a little bit, now what I do is I take the back end of a knife and start to try to make a paste. Now you can do this with salt as well, but the anchovies have a ton of salt. But if you didn't want to use anchovies and you just wanted to make a little garlic paste, that's what you would do. All right, we break it down again. We really almost want to turn this into a liquid. All right, so now I just want to rough cut the tarragon, and all I do is I try to line the leaves up and just go across it. There's a stem there. I got to be careful that it doesn't slip off the knife, but we don't want to beat up the tarragon. All right, so now we have anchovy in there, just a pinch of salt. We can always season at the end. I like to do a little pepper. I'll add a little oil right off the bat, okay? Just to get things moving a little bit. There we go. It's beautiful. If for some reason you're a little skittish about the eggs not being tempered, I'm going to add this is very hot water. And I'm going to add just a little bit in there, about a tablespoon, right? Done. Just that nice hot water in there at the end. It's not enough to break the mayonnaise, but it does sort of sterilize the eggs. So here we have our duck confit. So we didn't make this. We got this from D'Artagnan. I mean, you certainly can, and obviously in the restaurant we make it all the time, but it's a kind of a 2-day process to say the least. And all right, so I have the lobster right here. It's got to come out of the shell. We cooked it before. You saw that when we have the tail and the claw here. What I'm going to do I'm going to take a towel. I'm going to press down on the tail, like so. And I usually use a fish scissor. I'm using a meat scissor today because that's what I have. And it's good to just go down the back of this. And then what we just want to do here, all right, is pop this out. And it's good to wear gloves. As I mentioned, these shells they're sharp. And that's that. Now we're going to do, with the back of a knife, a little bit right here. And get that going. Sound effects. So, we want to tap this without breaking it, the shell. And if you hit it in the right place, hopefully, a little easier when you have a fish scissor, but I just wanted to give you the general idea of what this is like. We're going to chop it anyway. Anyway, it's out. Okay. Voila. So, we have the tail. We pulled the cartilage out of the claw. We're just simply going to slice down. And here I'll just go right down this way, because this is going to be in the lobster roll. So I don't want the pieces to be too big. And we're going to add this to the lobster that's right in front of me. How about that? All right, so I have the lobster rolls, the actual rolls themselves toasted. All right, so the general rule that I like to do, take some claw meat, right? And also some tail meat. Measure it into a roll. Remember, this is a lobster roll, right? So it should definitely have some lobster, but it can't, well, it can. I mean, if you were to pile this thing up, 7 feet high, you can. But we're also adding some things to this as well. So this is not bad. Tarragon Mayonnaise, which is a little bit Green Goddess influenced. I think you saw me make it earlier. There's a lot of tarragon. There's some anchovy, some garlic. I'm going to take it easy when I first put it on there. All right? Because I don't want to overdress this. I think we can do just a touch more, right? And so that looks like that. To that, I like to add some chives. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. Doesn't need a lot, just to wake it up a little bit. We'll lay that into the bread. Like so. I'm going to take a Meyer lemon. I have a nice Meyer lemon here, and I want to gently shave some lemon right on there. Just some nice little pieces of tarragon here. Celery leaves. I love a little celery leaf. It's got a nice, gives it a little wake up. I'm going to use a chili, and I don't know what it is, but it's nice. Just a little chili. Very, very little. Just a touch more lemon, and that's going to do it. It's going to be lobster roll number 1, New England style. Now what I'm going to do while we work, right into the brown butter, all I want to do here is gently reheat this. A little bit of chive. I'm just going to break the tarragon leaves here. Very, very nice, like so. Like so. I don't remember using like so much before, but anyway, here we go. Right in. Got a nice claw. A little bit of mango. Now I want a little bit of this really crispy duck skin, but I also want a little bit of shredded meat. Just like that. And Chef Christian Delouvrier did this too. Let's be honest, I think he did this, a variation of the salad, which is just absolutely terrific. So now, a little bit of duck crackling, if you will, and that's it. This is the Alain Senderens, also somewhat Christian Delouvrier lobster roll with duck confit, mango, and frisée. I'll put that right next to our New England style lobster roll. All right, so we have this lobster that's been gently poaching in the brown butter. Just like this. I definitely want some butter. That's part of it. And so we could use clarified butter that doesn't have any color. It's a nice sort of take on this. I'm going to put a few chives in here. A little bit of salt. And that'll just enhance a little tarragon. There's no reason why you can't warm up tarragon. You do it in Bernaise. Just a little drizzle of Meyer lemon juice right on top. We do a little emerald. You know I want to say it, but I'm not going to do it. So we have the Alain Senderens lobster roll with duck confit, frisée, and mangoes. We have a New England style lobster roll here, served cold, and we have a Connecticut style lobster roll with brown butter served warm. So go out, eat some lobster, have a good summer, and stay tuned for the next episode.